welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm super excited because I have my best friend Bria with me, and she is also in an accelerated nursing program. She goes to Rutgers University, and her program is, 13 months? 14 months. So she's in her third semester. She's gonna be done in summer, so she's almost done. I started last semester, so I'm gonna be going into my second semester, and then I'll have 2 more after that. So today we have a super exciting video. We're gonna be talking about what we wish we knew before we started nursing school, and now that we're in it, some tips that we've learned along the way to help you guys so you guys don't have to make the same mistake.
Yes.
So if you're interested, stay tuned, and while you're at it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like it, and we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so the first thing that I personally feel like I wish I knew before starting was that I wish I understood critical thinking.
Yeah.
So like in nursing school, all you hear from day one is critical thinking. You're like, what the heck is that? So for me, I wish I understood that in nursing, like the questions, all of them are right, but technically you have to choose the best answer.
Yes.
And if you're in nurse school, you understand.
Yes.
But to come from, like, we both came from like different colleges, right? So we're used to answering questions like, okay, what color is the sky? Blue.
Right. It's either right or it's wrong. Like there's no other option.
But in nursing, it's almost like, okay, what color is the sky? And it's almost like depending on what day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I really wish I understood that, so that when I started, I didn't feel like so hard on myself and stuff like that. And then did you know like your study style before you started? Like, did you have to figure out your study style as you were going along?
I had to figure it out as I was going along because every teacher's teaching style is different, and what works for one teacher doesn't work for the other.
Exactly.
So I had to learn how to alter my study style with the way that teacher teaches.
Right.
So
Right.
definitely was a learning process for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, you may think you knew how to study,
Right.
like in your previous major, or like, and then you get to nursing, you're like, wait, that's not gonna work.
That
That's
1
not gonna
hour,
work.
no, you need a couple of hours, multiple times a day.
Like,
yeah.
You have to learn to adjust your study style, because you could be in lecture for 3 hours, and then, you know, on a normal major, another major, then you come home, you could take a nap and maybe, you know, read for 30 minutes, but no. Nursing, after you finish lecture, you literally need to come back home and study for like 2 times. I think they say 2 times the lecture time or whatever. So definitely try to learn your study style before you start, and, you know, go from there.
Definitely.
So I think next we could talk about the first exam. What do you think? Like, what about the first exam?
I would say that y'all should know it is okay if you fail your first exam.
Oh my God.
It's not going to kill you. It's not a big deal. The thing is, your first exam is basically like the basis or where you are at with that particular subject. So now you know, or you will go home and you need to regroup. Okay, what could I have done better?
Right.
What can I do differently the next time? And now apply it.
Right.
You might not have that wiggle room that you would like if you scored higher, but it's okay. It's all about just regrouping, applying. Don't give up. Don't get discouraged. It's not that deep.
Yeah, no, seriously, because like most people get so hard on themselves after the first exam. You're like, oh my gosh, like I studied so hard. It's nothing that hurts more than when you study for hours and you still don't do well. No, that hurts. That really hurts. So pretty much we wish we knew that it's okay that after you take the first exam and you realize where you went wrong, it's okay to take that time to regroup. Like, let me find my footing so that the next exam I know what I did wrong and go from there. Like, we keep beating ourselves up about it, but like it's okay. Trust me. So another thing that we were talking about was like getting acquainted with the material before like starting the class. So I wish I knew that, because for me, when I first started, I would just get the textbooks, and I'm like, okay, first day of class, just have the textbook. But I wouldn't think to open it. So I learned along the way, especially from being from a previous program, that if you have the opportunity to learn a little bit before, to definitely do so. Like, did you do that? Like, for no. Pretty much, I feel like you should try to read up on your material prior to starting the class, if you can, or even if you don't have the textbooks, like, and you know what the class is about, start looking up on different topics, just so you're not, like, completely clueless. Right. I think that would really help a lot.
Agreed.
You were talking about checking if you need the textbooks. That's a question that I get a lot. Yeah. I think you want to check if you need the textbook before the class starts. I mean, obviously schools don't want us to be saying that, because they're like, oh, get all the textbooks. But this last semester, I only bought one book. Like, one. And, like, that's because I needed it for extra credit. Yeah. All the other ones, like, you could probably find them online.
Yes, there are PDFs. There are PDFs. Almost every textbook, you can find it.
Yes.
You can find it.
And it will really hurt if you spend like $200 on a book and it's online.
Or $600.
Ooh, we spent $600
for no reason
on textbooks just to find out that there's PDF versions online.
Like, everyone was using them. I was like the only one. I'm like, oh.
Okay. You know, don't be so eager, like, oh, yay, nursing, like, I need all my books, when in reality, like, you could probably get a old PDF link from somebody else, become friends with, like, an upperclassman or somebody who's been through it before. Just do your research before you spend all that money on all those textbooks. Trust me, you could save a lot of money.
And it's okay to rent. Like, you don't have to buy your textbooks. You're not going to use it. You're not going to use it. In a couple of years,
You're not.
Like,
don't think like, oh, yes. Like, oh, I'm going to get this textbook, and, oh, down the line, I'm going to, open the book. You're not.
You're not going to ever open it. I said that to my undergrad. Those books are still under the bed.
Collecting dust. Okay.
Right.
Probably, like, propping up my camera.
They are. Like, seriously, no.
No. Another thing that I really wish I knew is the balance between school and an outlet, like, of some sort. Like, you need an outlet. Like, you cannot study with no, like, break. Like, even if it's hard for you to do that, schedule it in. Like, have a planner and schedule in, okay, today I'm going to spend 1 hour watching Netflix, or 20 minutes, painting my nails, or whatever the case may be, or even if it's a nap, because we were just talking that we think, like, you don't need to actually go out and get drinks and do all that stuff to relax. You could just...
You can do that right in your home, in your humble abode.
And just, chill out. But I think it's very important to know before you start school that it's okay to take a break. Like, it's okay. Like, you're going to drive yourself insane thinking, like, all I want to do is study. Which leads into the next point, that I've been feeling guilty when I go out and have fun, because I'm like, oh my God, what medication does this patient need? Like I felt like I can't enjoy myself because I feel guilty, like I'm using this time to have a nice little drink, and I should be studying, diabetes, or something.
For real.
So definitely keep that in mind, that it's okay to just relax. Like, I think it's okay to relax.
Because even for my birthday last year, oh my gosh, so last year, for my 24th birthday, we went out to dinner on my birthday, and I had just took a test.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And before we left the house, I knew, like, my exam grade already came in. I refused to look at it. Yep. I was like, I'm not looking at this until the night.
Because you don't want to be, like, discouraged
and stuff.
No.
And I thought I did better, and we'll get to that point, too. Right. I thought I did better than what I actually did. And so when I finally looked at it, I was a little hurt.
Right. Don't assume your grade. First of all, it's nothing that hurts more than when you take a test and you just know for a fact, like, oh no, I studied for 2 weeks. Okay. Ain't no way I got less than a 99, period.
Right.
You know? And you're just like, okay, this is how I'm feeling. People just saying, like, oh yes, this was easy. I know I aced it. And you get the test back. Yeah. Okay? And you see like a 72, and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? So what we, like, really wish we knew is just kind of like to be confident,
Yeah.
you know, while you're taking it, but don't be cocky, because nursing school is full of surprises. So you could think you did well and then turn out that you didn't do as well as you thought.
Yeah.
So just be like open-minded and not have that like, oh, I for sure aced it, because that'll humble you real quick.
Right. You be embarrassed.
You be embarrassed. You be embarrassed. Or if your friend, or like the opposite, if your friend does well and you thought like, okay, I did well too. And then your friend walk away with a 90 something and you get a 70 and you like, ooh, I thought, did we study together? Did we study together? Was I there?
You're right. Did I miss that?
You be embarrassed.
Embarrassed, for real.
Also, to not compare.
Yeah.
Don't compare your grades, or feel like because one
Right.
person is doing better here that you should also, you know, oh my God, beat yourself up about it. If anything, use that person. You know, if Bria does, you know, better, let's say she does better than me in an exam, I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, she did better than me. I'm like, girl, what did you do?
Yes.
Like
You're in the group for a reason.
help me.
Right. And whatever I lack, I'm expecting my group member who did better to, okay, girl, like, this is what I got. Like, I need your help. And they're like, all right, bet. Like, that's the whole point of having a group. It's
Right.
also people who you can trust.
Right.
And that's very, very important.
Right. So, that's definitely something. And next, what we wish we knew is just to not think that your questions are dumb.
Right.
Especially in like a clinical setting or even a classroom setting, like you are constantly second guessing yourself in you know, school. So there's certain things where I know for a fact, like I knew the answer, but I was too nervous and I didn't want to sound dumb.
Yes.
So
yes.
I'm like, oh, like, okay, I know the
Yes.
answer, but I'm gonna let somebody else do it. So don't second guess yourself. Don't feel like your questions are dumb. Honestly, everybody's on the same, you know, field. Like it's a new experience for everybody.
Yeah.
So don't feel like, you know, your question's too stupid to ask or something.
Absolutely.
But you had said something about thinking about the answer before before saying it, I think.
Basically, there's no problem with asking questions. You want to ask questions, but you want to make sure you don't ask the question that you could have answered yourself.
Right.
Because a lot of times I've done that, and then I'll turn, I'm like, wait, I knew that. Like,
Yeah.
I knew that answer. And my
Give yourself
teacher's
a
like,
chance.
yes, Bria, I know you knew that answer.
Yeah.
So don't psych yourself out. Give yourself a chance to answer it for yourself. And if you're really confused and really lost, then ask, because sometimes, well, a lot of times it's your nerves that's causing you to forget.
Right.
So yeah, see if you can answer it yourself first.
And don't second guess yourself.
Right.
Like, you'll be fine.
Right.
Okay, so now that that's all said and done, oh, thank you, girl. You know, I'm embarrassed. So now that that's all said and done, I kind of want to ask Bria a little bit about her accelerated program, because there are going to be some people that are probably looking to get into Rutgers specifically. So I'm gonna let her kind of fill you guys in on some things.
Yes. So when I got into Rutgers, well, prior to me getting to Rutgers, I got a bachelor's degree in science, in biological science from Hampton University. I graduated Hampton with a 3.08. Now Rutgers' recommendation for their GPA was 3.3. I had 3.08. But thankfully, there were some prerequisites that I did not take at Hampton that I needed to take. So I took them at the community college near my house. And I wound up, when I finished those, I wound up getting a 3.5 from them. So even though my undergrad GPA was lower than what they wanted, I figured, okay, well, my prereq GPA is a 3.5. They have to see both transcripts. I'm just going to apply. And I got in. So don't trip out off of if your undergrad GPA is a bit lower, because what they do like to see is that, okay, well, she took some prereqs afterwards, and it's a lot higher, so they will combine your GPA.
Right.
They're obviously not going to tell you that.
Right. They don't want you to know that.
Right.
They do look separate.
Yes, they do take them together because they matter, and they're both are just as equally important.
Right.
So yeah, that's how I got into Rutgers. And with everything that's been going on, Ashley staying on top of me, just literally always. Right now my GPA at Rutgers is a 3.6. So yeah,
let's go. Like, you know, so pretty much we just wanted to come to do this video because not too many people do this. You know, they just say nursing school is hard. Like, and I'm like, okay, how? You know, let me know. Fill me in, because there's no reason to go through all of this and to not drop gems for other people who are trying to look for answers and, you know, looking to get into these schools. You guys know my story, you know, so I figure like, okay, bring somebody else with a different perspective who also is going through the same thing. So I hope you guys learned so much from this. And pretty much, you know, we'll probably be back again.
I'm sure.
But you know the way our schedules.
Right.
It's a little hectic.
You might get us in the summer.
Right. But that's, you know, life is going. But thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, if you didn't subscribe, please do so. I will definitely put all of Bria's information down below, so that way you guys can find her on Instagram or DM her if you'd like. I'll put her email. Try to email her professionally.
Right, email me y'all, because I don't go on social media doing
right, like she just said, she will delete the app
I'm one
to
of those.
Focus.
Yeah.
So if you want to reach her, you know, send her an email about any questions, you know, if it's specific to the school, or if you want her perspective, because sometimes it's good to have a different perspective. So definitely reach out to her. You guys already know my information will also be down below. Also, just stay tuned, because she has a twin sister. First of all. So, and she will also have a blog coming soon with her twin sister, and they will have some dope talks. Like, just stay tuned. You guys got ready. Okay.
Good stuff coming.
Good stuff coming. Okay. See you guys in my next one. And like I always say,